Hi guys, welcome to this video on measuring your feel-good foundations. So your feel-good foundations are self-care, joy, energy, and self-love. And almost everybody I work with who's having problems with their lives, at least one of those four foundations isn't great. Here's what I've found over the years. So I've been working on these foundations for probably 15 years. And if my self-care is bad, I'm not enjoying life, I've got no energy, I'm not loving myself, life is harder. And if all those things are strong, which is why I call them the foundations, life is easier. Problems are easier to solve. I have less problems because I'm less concerned about everything, because I'm feeling cared for, I'm feeling joyful, I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling loved. So it's a really good practice to get into to look after your feel-good foundations. So today, what I want to talk about is measuring those foundations. I like to have a measurement to see where I'm at, to see where I'm going to go. And then I can measure again to see if what I'm doing is working. And just a little top tip, it doesn't take as much work as you think to get your feel-good foundations up. What happens usually is that we do a little bit of work, it gets a bit higher and we go, awesome, I've done it. And then it goes back down again because we're not doing anything anymore. So it's a regular practice you need to get into. I'll talk about that another day. For now, I want to take you through the exercise to measure your feel-good foundations. So we're going to take 5 deep breaths into our heart. And now I want you to ask your heart, how is my self-care on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is I'm not caring for myself at all, and 10 is I'm cradling myself in the arms of love. Let your heart answer. And feel free to pause this video if you need a little bit more time. If you've got your number, let's move on. Breathe into your heart again. And now ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much am I enjoying my life? Where 1 is I'm not, and 10 is I love my life. Let your heart answer. Feel free to pause the video if you need a little more time to get the answer. If you've got your answer, we'll move on to energy. Take another deep breath into your heart. And now ask, how energized are you feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is I could lie face down on the floor and stay there, and 10 is I'm like Tigger, full of energy. Let your heart answer. Feel free to pause the video if you need a little more time. Otherwise, let's move on to self-love. Take a deep breath into your heart. And ask your heart, how is your self-love on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is I don't love myself at all, and 10 is I love, cherish, adore, and treasure myself. Let your heart answer. And again, feel free to pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Okay, so there's a few things that I want you to bear in mind with this. Number 1 is don't judge the number. This is just a gauge to see where you're at. It's like looking at the fuel gauge in your car. There's no point inflating the number because you'll just run out of fuel. It's the same with your feel good foundations. They are what they are. It's no reflection on you or how bad you are as a human. And if it helps, most people's scores are pretty low to start with. That's why I'm working on a book about all this right now. Generally speaking, most people's self-care isn't great. Their level of joy is lower than they'd like. Their energy is generally in their boots. And as for self-love, forget about it. So please don't judge your numbers. They're just a gauge to see where you're at right now. That's it. The second thing I want you to remember is to let your heart answer. Your brain will jump in and try and tell you what the number should be. If your heart comes up with a 2, your brain will go, well, it can't possibly be a 2. You had a massage 7 years ago. It must be at least a 7. You know, it'll come up with rationalizations and all sorts of things. So if you find that your thoughts are going crazy and your brain is trying to give the answer, take another deep breath, go back to your heart, focus your attention into your heart and let your heart answer. Your thoughts can get kind of shouty and loud. That's okay. Just let them yell. Breathe deeply. Listen to your heart. And be patient. You know, if you've never done this before, it might take more than 3 seconds to get an answer. When I go through this with clients, they will often go, I don't know. You gave that 3 seconds. Hey, come on, give it a bit longer. If you've never listened to your heart before, if you've never got this kind of number from your heart, there's going to be some thoughts about it. You're going to need to take a minute. It's fine. Breathe into your heart, let the answer come, and it will come, I promise. And then the last thing that I want to remind you is just to trust yourself. Sometimes we're not sure if it's our heart we're hearing, so trust yourself to know, is that my heart? And here's a little tip for you. Your heart will, let me just do it. Okay, how careful am I feeling right now? Okay, 7.5 is what I'm going for. By the way, you can have fractions. So my heart's saying 7.5 straight away. My head, if I was to go to my head, how cared for do I think I'm feeling right now? Well, an 8, maybe a 6. You know, it's your heart will just go, that's the number. Your head will go, well, it might be this, and I think it might be this, and it will rationalize, and it will make excuses, and it will give you reasons. Your heart doesn't do that. Your heart just gives you the number. So trust that number. Even if you think, that's a lot lower than I thought, or even that's a bit higher than I thought. Often clients' self-care will be a lot lower than they think. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. I'll go through it in another video. So trust yourself to know the number. But also, don't forget, it's just a number. It's just to give you an idea of where you're at and what you need to work on. You don't have to get it perfectly exactly right first time. A rough idea will do. If you kind of get the sense that, my self-care is pretty low, that'll do. Really, that'll do. Don't stress too much about it. So that is it for this video. That is how to measure your self-care. Your feel-good foundations of self-care, joy, energy, and self-love. If you have any problems with this process at all, please get in touch with me or leave me a comment. And I'm quite happy to answer any questions that you have. I've taken hundreds of clients through this exercise over the years. Every single one of them can do it. So I have zero doubt that you can do it too. So if you are having problems, just let me know and I'll give you some more tips and some more ideas. Also, I'd really love to hear how your self-care, joy, energy, and self-love are right now. And if you'd rather not leave a public comment, feel free to send me a private message or a direct message and let me know how you're doing. Okay, I'll see you in future videos. Take care. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.